welcome to the Miserable Metal Mind podcast, episode 11, a podcast involving three metal fans, all of a similar age and heritage. Two of these fans like to listen to new heavy metal music. One of them does not. Once a month, we meet up with recommendations to try to change his miserable metal mind. We often have a guest, and tonight is no exception. In fact, we have two. First of all, please welcome a masterful bass player, a competent radio DJ, but an all-round nice bloke, Mr. Mike Todd.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for having me.
And joining Mike is original vocalist with a stellar thrash voice, who is a god's gift to metal, Mr. Mark Duffy, both members of Toranaga UK.
Hey!
Yeah, welcome, guys.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so
Looking forward to this.
what have we been up to?
Can I just start? I'm trying to think if God's gift to metal is a compliment or a slur.
It's an album title, you fool.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right, well, there you go then.
Have to educate.
I'm going to say. I do need educated on that.
Yeah.
Like I said, you bring me the album, I'll listen to it.
I did.
Yeah, that was a bit of a piss
Did you?
take when we put that on t-shirts.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was that version.
I can see it on T-shirts. It's a good slogan on T-shirts, definitely.
No trademark, you can have that.
Yeah,
Is it
just
not?
go on the
Oh,
Yeah.
oh you've...
So, Toranaga, what have you got for us? What have you got to plug? What have you got to sell?
Ooh.
What? You,
Okay.
he's the networker. He knows what more than me.
I'm the gobshite of the band.
Yeah.
So, Mark has been like not the original, but certainly the vocalist for Toranaga from way back when, from when the first album Bastard Ballads was released. And back in December, I was looking for a band. I was looking to put a new band together because my other band's just gone on sort of writing rest. And Mark messaged us and went, I'm thinking about putting Toranaga back together. Do you want to help? And I just went, yes.
Well, basically with a new lineup.
Yeah.
Because a couple of years ago I got in touch with some of the other guys from the original lineup, and various reasons, distance, health reasons, it wasn't going to happen. So it's been playing on my mind for a couple of years, and I've seen the opportunity when Mike actually put an ad out for a vocalist, and I got in touch with Mike saying, how about trying this Toranaga idea, and he was straight up for it straight away. And he already had a drummer lined up and a guitarist, so it was almost like an instant band. And that was my other worry, because I was thought, how long would it take, you know?
Yeah. It was literally an instant band, just everything just kind of fell in line, and I was looking to put the band together, so I had the guitars already lined up, had a drummer already lined up. Mark messaged, I then just messaged everyone and went, got this offer, what do you think? And it was like, just full steam ahead. So we got Christmas and that out of the way, and New Year's, and then got rehearsing, so that just been cracking on.
Yeah, started announcing the situation that the band were doing something sort of under a new moniker, sort of Toranaga UK.
Yeah.
So, because the original name Toranaga is sort of Andy Mitchell as that.
Right,
So
I was going to ask on that as well. So,
right. Doors in a sense, you know, so that's why we got the UK in it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, it's the fact that Andy Mitchell went over to Australia in 2006, and he's been doing some things as Toranaga over in Australia.
Right.
Not a lot, just putting a few little demos out. And as Mark said, he's got the original trademarks for the name and for the original Toranaga logo, which is one of the reasons why Mark and the boys, when they released the album in 2012, went out as the bastard son of Toranaga, just so it wasn't a case of releasing something as Toranaga and then some legal complication comes along.
Most people did see it as Toranaga, to be honest with you. So,
I'm sure.
That's up to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, for us, I mean, obviously we've sort of said that we want to be. Mark wants to do material that he was part of. You know, he wrote
and sang on, basically. Yeah.
And why shouldn't he do that? And I mean, as as fans of the band and that kind of old school 80s, 90s metal, we all just love the idea of doing it. And people were sort of saying to me before I'd even joined the band, they were like, "Oh, like Lords of the Land last year up in Scotland, everyone was kind of going, oh, you know what? One of the only bands that's missing here is Toranaga." So yeah, I think that there's a lot of people who want to see us. I mean, not everybody. It's like everything. Not everybody's going to like a particular band or particular music, but there's people out there that want to hear us. So yeah,
So we're coming back though, doing songs off the first mini album, God's Gift album to start with, and then we're going to add a few other songs, and obviously we're going to look at writing some new songs as well. So that's what we're going to play.
This is not just a quick burst. Yeah, not just a quick burst and quick celebration. This is going to be a long-term thing.
Well, hopefully, yeah, hopefully it is. Yeah.
I mean, as long as people want us around and we want to be around, yeah.
We, as I say, we also want to write some new songs and see how they come across and see what response they get. So we're looking forward to that as well. We've got a few songs in the pipeline that we're writing and working on.
Yeah.
So it'll be later in the year or next year that anything will be released, I would think.
Okay, but you've got some live dates, haven't you?
We have, yeah. I mean, I'm surprised. Again, like I say, I mean, I'm a bit surprised at how good the response has been. We're going out with Canadian band Riot City in June. It was our first few dates, so we're playing down in London and then back up to Newcastle and Bristol, which is like the worst schedule I think anyone could have had, especially for a northeast band like us to go all the way down the country, back up and then back down the other side. All sorts, and we've got some stuff lined up for the rest of the year. So we're doing mostly support just to get back out there really and make sure that we've got our stagecraft honed and synchronized headbanging. I know I don't have the hair for it anymore, but I'll still be headbanging. Yeah.
None of us do.
Yeah. And I mean, we all got beards now, haven't we? And then we're going to get out and do some headlines. Hopefully, definitely the back end of the year, so from kind of October onwards. And then, who knows? We'll have to wait and see what 2025 brings.
Marvellous.
Yeah, we want to get abroad and get some suntans. So what's this space?
We will do the return of Toranaga UK.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Paul? What have you been up to?
Just the usual, really. Gigging, shooting, reviewing, one after another. Phil
When
Campbell on the weekend.
When you're saying shooting, you mean photography, don't you? Not like
I do.
Not your side job as a hitman, because you're giving the game away. All right.
Yeah, I was down at Station 18 Festival the weekend before last, which had King Kraken headlining on the Friday night, which was ridiculous because I don't know if you've seen any of the photos of all the balloons they had.
I have.
But, they had two nets full of baby Kraken balloons above the audience, and halfway through they opened the nets, and I managed to catch loads of shots of the balloons coming down. And there's quite a lot of good video of people taking it from the back of the hall and stuff, and it's ludicrous, to be honest, for a band like that. But they were superb. Yeah, and then on the weekend it was Toby Jepson up at the Patriot on Friday night, who did a spoken word and acoustic set for 2 hours and was incredible. And then Phil Campbell, Fury, and Valhalla Awaits on Saturday night, where I didn't take my camera and got a little bit drunk. So
I managed to do the same.
Yes.
So what gigs have you been to, Simon?
None.
No.
None. I went to, what was it called? Moshing the Roof On.
Oh yeah, of course you did.
You can count that as a gig, can't you?
You certainly can.
Since the last time I sat in my Garage of Doom.
Yeah.
What else have I done? I've done a triathlon again. Keep training. Got another triathlon this weekend. So yeah, that's all I've been doing. Working, training. and this week, last 2 days, listening to some new albums that I've never heard before.
I'm glad you have a nice quick build up to these things. Last 2 days, I cram it all in.
Yeah, well, I took a leaf out of your book on one of them, and did some gardening. And I thought I'm gonna have to listen to something, so I'll put one of them albums on.
Yep,
So
I had all 4 on the weekend in the garden. It was good.
yeah, there you go. I got sunburnt. I thought, is this what happens to Paul?
Yeah, my neck was like Neil's face on.
Get grumpy.
Saturday night.
I hate gardening. I hate weeding, and I hate listening to new music. I mean, and then I got sunburned, so it's not been the best weekend in that respect.
I wonder why we call you miserable.
Talking about miserable gardening, my wife Mel, she just took over an allotment. So we've been doing like a raised bed plots on there, and we'd asked for some wood chips because we got heard that you'd get wood chips, to make pats. So we turned up yesterday. There was 4 bags there. We thought, oh great, the wood chips have arrived. So we started spreading it out, and when we did, it was like, this doesn't smell very good, and then started to see feathers in it. Only turns out it was pigeon shit in somebody's manure. So we've done all this work, and then it's like, oh my god, I had to scrape it all back up, turn the beds in, put it in, and yeah, so that was the other thing that I've been doing.
So this week on Gardener's World.
Well, it's funny you should mention. Funny you mentioned pigeon shit, because the amount of times I've had to go swimming open water around here, and the first like 5 or 10 meters is just full of pigeon shit and duck shit and fucking everything else that just lands in the water, but it just ends up on the side of the water, and you've got to wade through it to get swimming. And that's why a lot of people. That's why a lot of people, when they do open water, they start throwing up afterwards.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't sound good.
Oh, it's fun, but a good time was had by all.
You mean you on your own?
Yeah, in this instance, yeah.
Oh, bless you.
Come on, kids. Let's go and look at some duck shit and pigeon shit.
And you were in Bradford, weren't you, Neil?
I was at the Ruination Festival.
Watching a load of bands no one's ever heard of again.
There was loads of bands that everyone's heard of.
All right.
And some bands that people hadn't heard of.
We've got 2 guys here. Name 5 bands. Let's see how many bands they've heard of.
5?
Just name 5 of the bands. And the lads from Toranaga, let's see if you know any of these bands.
Yeah, come on then.
Okay.
Come on, name 5.
Okay. Battalions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've never heard of him.
You better do they're on next month. Purple Kong.
Nope.
No.
That's a different kind of festival, that is.
What? 1 all? No, that's Purple Dong.
Oh, right, sorry. Different show.
Barbarian Hermit.
No. 2-1.
Sea Bastard.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that.
I don't
Well, this is the crunch. It's the 5th one.
Here we go.
Will it be a 3-2?
Desert Storm.
No.
Bloodstock, just like King Kraken.
No.
Oh well.
There we go. 60% not heard of.
But that's what we're trying to do. We are trying to tell everybody about these smaller bands, aren't we?
Of course we are.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But at least knowing about 40% of that lineup is good.
Yeah.
In the new metal scene, new band scene.
I'd never heard Purple Kong, but a couple of mates recommended it, so we went to watch them, and they were extremely good. They were really, really good.
There's October's guest coming up.
Sorry, say that again.
Go on, lads.
Simon said we're the October's guest.
Yeah, the October's guest.
Right, let's go into albums, shall we?
Yeah.
Why not?
Shall I get mine over with first for Simon?
It could be amazing, this.
Could be. It is amazing. So, I have picked Dödsrit, Nocturnal Will, and the track for the playlist I will have is Nocturnal Fire. This was a one-man project, but it's now a fully formed 4-piece. This is the 4th album, I think, but it was my first, and I bloody love it. I will use my chosen playlist track of an example of what I love about the whole album. It starts with tasty metal guitars and drums until it goes on full black metal, with vocals I know Miserable Simon will be revolted by, and I can accept that. Then it changes to a kind of crusty punk riff with black metal howling on top. I can still accept Miserable Simon not liking this. We then slow down and get glorious dual guitars interplaying with each other. This section had me on its first listen. I got goosebumps. It slows down a bit more with triumphant sounding guitars, soloing and solo all over this track right to the end. Uplifting guitars, demonic vocals, and I fucking love it. And I know Simon loves it as well.
Listen, if he got chills listening to it, he should have turned the fucking heating on.
So Paul's got his head in his hand, so I'm going to go to Paul first.
Yeah, it's all right. It's another black metal album.
It's not just black metal.
It's another black metal album that goes on too long.
It's a short album.
It's bloody well not. I think isn't the opening track about 10 minutes long?
The tracks are long.
10 minutes. 10 minutes, 35 seconds to be precise.
I think there's 6 tracks on the album, and it's about 50 minutes.
Right,
that's long.
Feels like about 15 minutes to me.
Yeah, I mean it's fine, but I've got to be honest. I've played this about 9 times, and I still cannot remember anything about it.
Wow.
It is, and I think the problem here, Neil, is that it sounds to me like nearly every other black metal album that you've brought to this thing. The only difference is that they're Dutch and not American or Scandinavian.
There's some Swedish in there as well.
It's got everything that I would expect from a black metal band, and I do like a bit of black metal now and again, but it's almost a blueprint to what I would expect for this kind of band. If you look at the name, you think, right, we're going to have gloomy passages, we're going to have some melancholic acoustic guitar, we're going to have gruff vocals, we're going to have blast beats, we're going to have 100-mile-an-hour shredding. I grant you there's a bit of crust punk in there, which is slightly different to most. But I enjoyed listening to it, but it's never going to threaten anything that I listen to. I wouldn't have listened to it unless you'd picked it.
Okay. I'll go to Toranaga before I go to Simon.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with hearing all the crust punk influences. When it was first started, I was a bit confused as to whether the band were confused as to what they want to be, because there's such a strong kind of pirate meets power metal guitar things in there with the punky riffs in it, and then you've got like all the black metal vocals and things like that. It didn't sit well with me, and I mean I love new music, but it wasn't, the whole album just wasn't something that I felt was cohesive. You know,
Right.
It was all, I just didn't know what it wanted to be.
Which is what appeals to me.
Yeah.
Mark, what about yourself?
I mean, yeah.
Sorry?
Just saying, what about you?
I'm sorry, I haven't played it. I left
All
that to Mike.
All right, just stay with me then.
Okay.
I left that to Mike. I said, you can listen to these bands.
He's a technophobe, that's what it is.
No problem.
I think that's true, yeah.
It was just all right. Like I say, I don't think I would rush back to it. I mean, I feel Paul's done well listening to it more than like 3 times.
I played about 3 times a day. Right, come on, Simon.
Hell.
Come on, Simon.
How are you pronouncing this band?
I'm not.
Dog shit.
I am not falling for that.
Well, because I'm pronouncing it dog shit.
Yes, I was well aware.
Oh, it's fucking awful. It is awful, isn't it? Not you don't even have to say the vocals are awful because you just know the minute it's a black metal album, it's a tick. Black metal vocals are shit. And the minute you said this started off as a one-man band, I was like, surprise, surprise.
Why?
All black metal stuff you've brought here is a one-man fucking project. They're all the fucking same.
All right, but this is 3 albums deep with the band.
Yeah, big fucking deal. They're all as shit as this. The only saving grace on this one is track 3 is 45 seconds long. Track 4 was 4.5 minutes. But you know what's coming. You know there's 2 10-minuters to finish it with.
Honestly.
Fucking terrible. Honestly, on this album, right, there's nothing new on it. There's nothing inventive about this album whatsoever. It is the most bog standard of music playing I've ever heard. It's like, where did we get up to on learning metal guitar? I got to like level 2. Well, that'll do. We don't have to learn anymore. We could just play the same fucking type of thing. And every song is the same. Every song it goes, and then you've got the like that on the guitars, and then they'll slow down. They'll do a bit more of a riff that you can hear what's going on, and then they're back into that. Like Mike said, they are all over the place on what they want to be. Fucking shit. It's boring. It's fucking. It's wince-inducingly crap.
Honest, hand on heart.
Hated it.
So far, that's my album of the year.
You are fucking deaf.
Honestly.
You are deaf and have no taste in music. Not only do you have no taste in beer, you have no taste in music.
Is that the sticker?
Terrible.
Is that the sticker on the album? Wince-inducing crap. Bang! Put it on there.
Exactly. It's turd. It is real turd. And what's wrong? And what's worse is it's Dutch turd as well now.
There's some
I don't
Swedish,
mind
there's some
things
Swedish in
from,
there.
well, you know, I bet they join late on.
I'm not.
Awful.
I'm not exactly sure.
Awful.
So if I'm gonna.
It really is. Honestly, is Dödsrit Dutch for dog shit? That's what I want to know. Because it ain't far away from it, is it?
Well, I think you've
Someone
decided.
Google it.
You've decided, haven't you, that it is?
But it's got to be. It's got to be. It could be nothing else. Awful.
Right, I will try harder.
Stop bringing black. No, don't try harder because you're trying harder brings more black metal.
No, I won't.
Don't try as hard. You might bring something half decent.
No, it's rotation. It's stoner next month, Simon. Haven't you got them with them yet?
Yeah.
Stoner,
Right,
black metal, stoner, black metal, stoner, black
well,
metal.
don't talk about rhythm when Dödsrit are about because there is none in it. Awful, honestly.
No. Right, so I'm
that could be some of the lyrics. No one would ever know because you can never know what's going on.
Honestly, you surprised me. You've surprised me.
Watch this. I can't wait for them to come on in September.
Yeah, I better cancel that, Anna.
Yeah, please.
Right, well, I think we better leave that one behind then. We'll go to polls, shouldn't we?
I was going to ask Mike where he stands with the kind of more extreme vocals, because your vocals aren't, I mean, they're extreme in terms of their thrash band, but I can understand what you're bloody saying when you sing. Where do you stand with the kind of more extreme, the death metal grunts and growls and the black metal howls and everything?
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do enjoy a lot of that. I mean, death and black metal's never been my favourite because I prefer vocals that you can hear, you can sing along to, has a good melody. You know, you want to be able to hum it. I mean, how many death metal tunes can you hum? Or lyrics you can just recite?
And then you sound like an angry dog.
You do, yeah. So yeah, it's not the music that I prefer, but it's certainly something I respect. As long as they're not trying to be, I was going to say, like jumping between, like that last band did, just jumping between power metal, punk, and the black stuff. But I mean, then again, I love Carcass. You know, I like listening to Death. One of my best mates is in a band, Mortal Chains. He is all sort of black metal and death metal. it just all depends. As long as there's something musically there, I'm all for it. If it's just a hodgepodge, then no.
Yeah. I think you're right though. I think if it's good music, it's good music. It comes through no matter what type of music you're playing.
Yeah.
If it's good, it's good. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
But
there's a particular song I like. They're a band, I can't even remember how to pronounce it. Called, I think it's Nemesic. Anyway, it's a song called "Invocation for the Muse." I love that song. I mean, it is proper like grunty vocals, but just the music, everything about it is just absolutely fantastic. It's catchy as anything. If it wasn't like a 2-year-old album, I would have sort of said, yeah, that one. But
no, Simon will know that one. Yeah.
No, check it out. I think it's a genuinely good song. They're a good band. I think they're French.
Hang on. I mean, Neil might check them out. Might be next month's album here, pal. Don't tell Neil how to spell it. Let him find out for himself. He might spare us for a couple of months.
Oh, I'm gonna have to concentrate next month, aren't
I? Just pick something fucking half decent. It'd be nice.
Shut your face.
I'm sure there must come a point in the month you think, right, how can I just ruin Simon's week?
Oh, that's
I know. I know. I'll just fucking send him this to listen to.
That's not a point in the month. That's every day.
That's why Simon waits until 2 days before to listen to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. No, I'm going to win you over next time. I promise.
Oh,
you have
words.
Brought one good one.
Yeah, well, hey, it'll be a year next time as well.
Will it? Fucking hell, feels like 5 already. Blackberry free.
Right, come on, let's move on.
Come on, Paul.
Right, what did I pick this time? Lucifer V by Lucifer. A band formed in Berlin in 2014, but now based in Sweden. 3 Swedes and a lead vocalist from Germany, Johannes Adonis. 5 albums in. Obviously, you can guess what the other 4 are called if this is called 5. The early years, they had Gaz Jennings, who was the guitarist in Cathedral, in the band. So for 2 or 3 years, he was part of the band and gave them some of their sound. It's not modern. They're a 10-year band, 5 albums. Their sound is drenched in the 70s. It's psychedelic, occult. The influences are many, but they're all Sabbath, Deep Purple, stuff like that. There's even like 70s Heart, Fleetwood Mac in there. Occult imagery. I find this kind of music really exciting. It's really interesting. It's slightly different. It's only the second band that we've had on here with a female vocalist, so that's 2-0 to me because the rest of you have just brought sausages all the time, so I'm winning in that war. And the track that I chose, I can't remember which one was it that I chose.
Fallen Angel.
I don't know. Fallen Angel, which is the opening track on it. I've only ever seen them once. Saw them support Paradise Lost and Catatonia in the Wolfram Hall in Wolverhampton in about 2016 and was blown away by them. There's a lot of imagery. She's a brilliant French singer. So yeah, that was my choice, Lucifer V. I don't expect it to be a raging success, but we'll see.
Do you want me to go first?
Go on, Neil.
I like it. I'm going to tell a very boring story, just like Simon tells.
There we go.
I listened and liked Lucifer 1. I like Lucifer 4. I like Lucifer 5. And I don't know why I never listened to 2 or 3. There you go. That's my boring Simon story. No, I like them. I like this band a lot. I'll get into them on the first one. I've never seen them live. But yeah, I love this kind of 70s. I'm sure you're going to mention Blood Ceremony, Simon, but that kind of a thing. yeah, very much up my street. Liked it a lot. Toranaga?
I quite enjoyed it. It was I could definitely hear those kind of 70s doomy vibes. So yeah, like the Sabbath and things like that. The only things that I didn't like about it, and it wasn't to do with the production or anything like that. It sounded like it wanted to be kind of like 90s indie does metal. I know it sounds stupid, but it kind of brings up kind of oh God, what was it? Echo Belly kind of vibes. I
Wow.
was listening to it and I'm just thinking, oh yeah, it's very, it's just as if indie was trying to do metal. It's not a bad thing. I mean, I did think it was a good album, and I would certainly listen to it again and again. But yeah, it wasn't original. There's nothing that makes me sit up and go, oh yeah, it's brilliant. It was good, just wasn't brilliant for me.
Okay. Simon?
Yeah, I feel a lot like Mikey really, because when I was listening to it, I was thinking I can't help but feel they do remind me of a different band, and like you said, the name of the other band that they remind me of. But
Echo Belly.
all the no, not Echo Belly. No, I like
No,
no, I like Echo Belly, and I'm here for anything indie Britpop in the mid-90s is right up my street. But no, the Blood Ceremony that Neil mentioned, they really reminded me of that, but they kept reminding me of other bands as well. And it does feel like they wanted to sound and be a different band than what they are. And I know that's such a weird thing to say, but it's not shit, but it's not great. It's decent.
yeah.
And all the way through, I'm thinking it's
There's times
decent.
as well, and I also kind of yeah. There's times I got this impression as well as it being like Echo Belly. It was like if ABBA wanted to do Doom, that
Yeah,
would be what Lucifer would be. Because
yeah,
it was a very Eurovision worthy.
yeah,
Far better than Univision.
definitely. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. Like I say, I mean, I'm never going to listen to it again.
You're never going to listen to anything ever again.
No, that's true. And then, but like I said, it wasn't crap. But all the way through, you are kind of thinking, do they want to sound like somebody else, or are they trying to sound like a different band, but they just haven't got that last little ingredient that makes it sound like they want to sound?
You know why? Because they're sounding like themselves, which therefore makes your argument fall apart.
Here we go.
Is that not fair? If you always said they're trying to sound like somebody else, but they don't sound like somebody else, therefore they don't sound like somebody else, they sound like themselves.
No, they do sound like somebody else.
But you just said you can't find in your brain who they sound like.
Yeah, but everybody's
Mike
just
did.
mentioned that.
Mike did. You didn't.
Everybody's just mentioned a load of bands from the 70s that
Echo Belly
they
aren't
felt
from
like
the
they
70s.
reminded.
Echo Belly are not from the 70s. Are you listening?
They were born in the 70s.
I just got you there.
What? I can't even think of an argument against that.
No.
But Simon, would you listen to Lucifer 6 when it comes out?
No.
Right?
No chance. I'm not going to listen to like when Paul said it, Lucifer 5, or I like that Lucifer V. Lucifer V, where's that? And then I looked and I saw the track of the albums. I thought, oh, it must be Lucifer 5 because the other one's like 1, 2, as they were. But no, I definitely won't listen to it unless someone brings it to me. Unless these guys say this is the album I'm listening to this month, then no, I'm not going to listen to it at all. And there's a load of bands like that these two have brought to me. But it's not hateful. It's not like dog shit, is it?
I mean, I think that the other thing with this, of course, is that Brits don't do Doom very well, and they don't do. Apart from the only band I can think of that do this kind of thing, and they're slightly different, is Green Lung, who we've had on here in terms of their album. But if you go
again,
through,
go on, Paul.
No, I was going to say, if you look at like Sweden and countries like that, the kind of occult, doomy 70s stuff just falls out. Witchcraft, Candlemas, there's a list at Graveyard. They're all pouring out of Sweden and countries like that. So I think we do struggle with it because we can't do it very well, despite the fact that they're taking all the influences from our band from the 70s. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we could have brought 2 albums, I would have brought Horndal to the table, Hammerhead Man.
Well, I was surprised you
that.
didn't, because I was expecting you to bring that.
I was tempted, but when we had a talk about it, we felt Judas Priest was probably a good one to just talk about.
Okay.
But yeah, they're really good. I'm gutted I can't go and see them this Saturday in London. Gutted. I would have loved to have gone to see them.
I've never seen them.
I've only seen them live, and they did during lockdown. They did a concert online, and it was amazing. Loved it. Just wish I could have been there. I will see them live one day.
I will be there. Simon, what's your thoughts on Horndal? Just wondering.
It's the first time I've ever heard of him.
Right, Toranaga.
Check them out.
What album?
he's not going to do that, Mike. It doesn't matter what you say.
Oh no, he's checking nothing out.
That's not true. That's not true, actually, because when Dane said listen to, was it Kids in Glass Houses, I went and listened to them, so it can happen. What were they called, Mike?
Horndal. So just Horndal. And their
Simon,
current album is called Hammerhead.
Simon, don't bother, mate.
Yeah, report back next month, please. I can't wait.
I will do. Am I going to listen to him just to fucking prove you lot wrong?
We'll see.
You might just like it.
We'll see.
Right, come on, let's go on to the album Toranaga wish to bring forward.
Yeah.
Well, I would say recent album would be Judas Priest, because I've got it as a gift. My son bought it for my birthday a few weeks ago. So yeah, I think it's a really good album. I've only listened to it a couple of times, but there's some great songs on it. What I've listened to, I thought, ones that stand out is what have I got written down? Panic Attack, Gates from Hell, and Fight for Your Life which is a bonus track actually, and I think it's a really good song. But the one I did pick was Trial by Fire.
Mm-hmm.
Quite commercial, but it's just Judas Priest. It's at the best. I think Andy Sneap's production is amazing.
Yeah.
On this album and on the last album, it's just brought them to life, So yeah, great band. Still doing it. I mean, look at the age of them, and they're still doing albums as brilliant as the last 2 albums.
As they were in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, no, but the last 2 albums, they're absolutely brilliant. The one before, Firepower, it's a good album, but the production just wasn't there. But since Andy Sneap's been involved with the last 2 albums, the production's spot on, and it just makes the band even bigger, and and the album's bigger, and just massive. Great to hear the Priest as good as this still,
Yeah.
Still doing it brilliantly.
Oh, I'm going to just quickly counter Mark on that, because I was a bit the other way, that I didn't really enjoy it because I found the first 3 songs were just trying to recapture the whole Painkiller feel.
The first song does. It's got that electronic sort of feel on
the first
Panic
3,
Attack.
First 3 are, and then the rest of the album was just, I don't know, Judas Priest trying to be like Motley Crue or something. It was a bit too rock. It was just weird, and I didn't enjoy the production. Sorry, Andy Steve, but I didn't enjoy it. But anyway, let's go to Paul.
Andy Sleep has just ripped up the bands I want to produce Toranaga's third album. Yeah.
No, I wanted to prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
I love this album. I saw them twice on the tour with Saxon and Uriah Heep, and I thought they were phenomenal. Although I thought Uriah Heep were the best band, which is quite strange. But I think it's because Priest's show has always been very choreographed. Uriah Heep looked like they were having more fun. I think Priest were very much, you stand here, you stand there, I'm going to go here, I need to go here because I need to read the auto cue, so you stay over there and throw all your shapes, Richie Faulkner. You do all your rock god bits. Andy Sneap has got to stay at the side. Ian Hill doesn't move because he's 135 and he's never moved. And of course, Scott Travis can't move because he's the bloody drummer. And then they had the audacity to let him speak and introduce when he talked about their UK tour. And there was only one country they hadn't fucking played in. So a lot of the Welsh in Bournemouth gave him a bit of shit about that. But there we go. I think it's a great album. I think there's a bit more of Panic Attack in particular. I think goes more back to Turbo than to
actually it is. Yeah, more like Turbo
than Painkiller. And actually, Neil did Judas Priest on the Bolton's Bangers on the Thrash Club, the Metal Club, sorry, no longer the Thrash Club, the Metal Club, not that long ago. And Panic Attack was one of the top 3 that I put in because I think it's one of the best songs they've ever written. I think there's an element of them trying too hard, but I don't know what you'd expect from Judas Priest. They're never going to come out with a progressive album apart from Nostradamus, which we won't dwell on. I think the guitar work is exceptional on here. I think Faulkner is. I think if they'd replaced Faulkner, if they'd replaced KK with another guitarist of the same age as them, I think Priest wouldn't be going now. But I think Faulkner is dragging this band into their dotage, if you like. I thought he was phenomenal. His guitar playing is stunning live. He is incredible. Yeah, I think I've listened to it regularly. Unfortunately, we're reviewing it on our latest mix daily, so we're getting it every bloody couple of days. I've reviewed it for Metal Talk. I think it's a classic Judas Priest album. I'd put it certainly in my top 5 Priest albums of all time, if not in the top 3.
Well, before we go to Simon, I'll just throw in my little bit. I'm not really much of a Priest fan. Simon knows this. Paul knows this, that I didn't really... I bought something back in the 80s. I don't even know what it was, and it was awful. And I threw it away and never really tried again until they headlined Bloodstock for the first time. And I actually spoke to Simon. I asked for some recommendations and did enjoy what he passed on to me. And I do enjoy this album. It's very, very good. I think I've said in the past, I thought it sounded like a Judas Priest album. So when you say Motley Crue, I didn't hear that, but I am not the biggest Judas Priest fan. But yeah, I wish Metallica had done a Metallica album as good as Judas Priest did a Judas Priest album, because yeah, it's quite good. This.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that.
Yeah, I've got somebody on my side for something.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Judas Priest fan, but it's definitely an album. Out of the 3 albums so far, I would definitely go back to that. And I mean, the one song that stood out for me is it Serpent and the King, the second track.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the title was, but that was the first song that caught in my brain, certainly for the chorus. And I know it's not the best song on the album, but it certainly was catchy enough to stick and make me think, oh, I want to listen to that again.
It was the Serpent. It is the Serpent and the King, Mike. You're right.
There we go.
Just reading it off the album here.
So I'm genuinely interested in what Simon thinks of this.
Well, firstly, obviously, as we all know, Painkiller is one of the best metal albums ever made. So this feels as close to a clone as Painkiller as you're ever going to get, I think. I really liked it, start to finish. My only concerns with it is it does feel like, rather than the guitarist Richie, is it Faulkner?
Yeah.
At some points, it does sound like, what sort of a band that he's in?
It's
Elegant Weapon.
Elegant Weapon. At some points, it does feel like if it wasn't Rob Halford singing, it would be an Elegant Weapon song, and that's only a couple of songs that it's at, and that, I suppose that's pretty obvious that would come through because it's the same guitarist, but it does feel like the minute he's got his Judas Priest hat on, then he is, well, certainly on this album, he's trying to copy Tipton and Downing from the 80s. And I don't think that's a bad thing either, because like I said, this album's brilliant. I absolutely love it. The guitars are great. The dueling guitar solos are really good. The drums are really good, thumping, driving. They've got that really nice double kick groove and beat to it as well. But it does come back to Painkiller, and as you know, I think Painkillers is a masterpiece. So there's even one song I think you could actually sing. Is it All Guns Blazing? One of them even sounds like that.
Yeah.
I think it's track 7 or 8, something like that, halfway through. But it is good. It is good. I mean, and like I say, Priest's run. I know how you feel about it, but Priest's run in the 80s. I've struggled to find another band that can top it. Me, I fucking love it. British Steel, was that early 80s, wasn't it? Yeah. I'm not going to say
80
stupid
British
here.
Steel.
British for me. Yeah. British Steel, Scream for Vengeance, Defenders of the Faith, Turbo, Ram It Down, Painkiller. 6 albums for me that I think are fucking brilliant. And I know they might have lost away mid 80s around, Turbo and Ram It Down era for some people, not for me. But when you hear them play them songs live, then it doesn't sound like that. They are more rocked up to what you would expect them to be. So I think it's more of a culture thing in the 80s, how them albums are produced and sound, because the songs are still really good. Like I said before, the song, if it's a good song, it's a good song. And they still play songs off Turbo now. So they must people must like it, or they wouldn't be watching them twice on one tour this time round. 40, 50 years down, and someone's still going watching them, so they must be doing something right.
Absolutely.
And the album before this, Firepower, I thought was all right. I didn't mind it at all. I thought this is what I expected Priest album to sound like. I think they have stepped up the game on this one though. So yeah, double thumbs up for me. I love it.
Wow.
This is an album I've clicked the plus button on the iTunes, so it's and downloaded it because it's a stayer, this one.
Wow. And I also,
there we go.
Paul, I also noticed that Simon referenced another new band. We're actually getting to him. When he mentioned Elegant Weapons, he's actually listening to things.
Yeah, I'm not a fucking idiot. No.
That was Rich's choice. So.
Yeah, I even mentioned before that whatever they were called, that Blood Ceremony.
You did?
Yeah. See, so all the bands are in here. They're in there.
All of them.
All 8 of them. I went into a record shop and you're looking through the albums. I don't know if I've told you this. I was looking through albums and I saw about 5 albums of bands I'd never heard of until we did this podcast. I was turning around to Mrs. going, oh my God, I didn't realise they've got an LP out these. Listen to these. Who were the band that had the song Total War? What were they called?
Oh, Memoriam.
Yeah, them.
Yeah.
I was absolutely gobsmacked that they had an LP. It was in an LP. I thought CD at the very most, but LP, I was like, Jesus, look at this. I didn't buy it because it was a shit album, but
You'll be going to see
There you
him next
go.
and wearing a t-shirt.
Ha! Not them, I won't.
Well, I feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
I do. It's got better and better. This podcast got better and better. Started off shit, got a bit better. It's got really good, and it's about to get even better.
Go on then, make it even better.
So, classic album time. Here we go. What can we say? The album that made metal fans. You know, we were just people stood in a corner in denim jackets until this album came out, and then there were masses and masses of us everywhere. I chose this album and I didn't listen to it. And I actually thought today, do you know what, I better have actually listened to this, because what if I put it on again? I think it's fucking shit. But it isn't. I put it on again today and I just like, wow. Just wow. From the start to the end, I think this is absolutely electric. This is their best album by a country mile. I actually think
big words.
they listen. I actually think that they have actually wrote better songs on other albums, but from beginning to end, they've never done anything. Every single album track on this album is a banger. Every single one. There's not a flawless thing on this album. It is perfection in metal. Obviously, I'm talking about Iron Maiden and Number of the Beast, and just want to run through what I've wrote down here. Firstly, Clive Burr is a better drummer than Nicole McBrain. I don't care what anybody says. He's a better fucking drummer than Nicole McBrain. He's got better beats, better technique. Is amazing. The songs are great. The guitars are great on this. The found, for me, Iron Maiden and Killers, the first two albums, for me, are just okay. Again, like albums that follow Number of the Beast, they've got good songs on them, but there are certain songs that you think it's a bit shit, this. Or certainly now, they're dated for me. Bruce Dickinson is obviously a better guy than Paul. Is it Diano?
Yes.
Yeah. He's a lot better than him. I actually used to listen. I had this album on a tape, and it started with Number of the Beast. And for years, I thought that was side one. So I thought Number of the Beast was the first song on it. It was only when I actually went and bought the CD that I realised I'd been listening to it the wrong way around.
When was that? Last week?
For decades. Yeah. I only downloaded it last week.
When his tape snapped. Yeah.
But listen to this, right? So songs, here we go. Prisoner, Children of the Damned, Invaders, 22 Acacia Avenue, Gangland, Hallowed Be Thy Name, Total Eclipse. Just them on their own is fucking fantastic. And I've not even mentioned the other two songs. You don't have to mention the other two songs. Them songs on their own, every one of them is fucking amazing. But then obviously you've got Number of the Beast and Run to the Hills. We don't need to wax lyrical about them because, like I said, they are the songs that got millions and millions and millions of people into heavy metal. I'm fucking sure of it. And what I will say, though, 22 Acacia Avenue, Charlotte the Harlot, 50 quid in 1982. She's expensive. 20 quid in Bolton in the mid-90s. She's charging 50 quid in the early 80s.
15, isn't it? It's 15 quid.
It's
also
50.
It's 15.
It's 50.
It's 15
quid.
It's 15.
50.
I'm sure it's 15.
Get the fucking lyrics.
I'm doing it now.
I'll get about.
Well, I'll listen to it today. If it's 15 quid, I take it back. She was charging a decent rate, but 50 quid. I know they're a band from London, but Jesus Christ!
I've got to be honest. Of all the things I thought we might be arguing about tonight, it was not the price of prostitutes in the 80s.
It's 15 quid, you numpty.
I thought it was.
Oh, there you go. Well, there you go. I am old and I am deaf. So there you go. Yeah. I mean, listen, I don't know what you guys think of it, but I think it's a fucking stone cold classic. I think even now, if you went to watch them now and they just played that album with the exception of a couple of songs, I think you're walking away from the night going, yeah, I'm happy with that. Not a problem. You know, I think metal was probably about there, and then Number of the Beast comes along and it goes like that. You know, I think it just rocketed the whole heavy metal music into a conversation that other people weren't, like the Sex Pistols and punk. Punk was one thing. Sex Pistols came along, everybody knew about it. You know, you can say what you want about the people who invented heavy metal, but for me, Iron Maiden brought it out of the corners of, you know, school discos and clubs and stuff like that, and just made it mainstream. Everybody certainly knew what heavy metal was once this had come out.
I find myself a little torn.
No, that's Natalie Imbruglia, mate.
Oh, well done.
Thank you.
Oh, very good.
I agree with almost everything you're saying, Simon, and I feel dirty for saying that. I'm not so sure on elevating heavy metal to another level, but I don't know. And I certainly don't agree it's head and shoulders above other Maiden albums. But
name another.
Peace of Mind. So I always said Peace of Mind was my favourite album. Now, myself and Paul and a few others did do a Maiden daily, and it did turn out that Number of the Beast was my favourite album. But you know, like I said, and that iconic cover, it was the first Maiden album I heard, and it did blow me away. Was and is a classic. So well done, Simon.
Thank you, Paul. Your thoughts?
Right.
Oh no.
This is going to sound... It's difficult because I was 12 when this came out. I was just probably 2 years into metal. I could remember hearing Gangland. I can still remember hearing Gangland on the Friday Rock Show, lying in bed as a 12-year-old when they played it ahead of the album coming out. And it was the first time I'd heard Bruce with Maiden, obviously. I'd already discovered them through Killers, and Killers is still one of my all-time favourite albums. I love the viscerality of it. I love the punk edge to it. Killers, the actual song, is my favourite Maiden song of all time. So I was slightly gutted when you're a kid that Paul Di'Anno was leaving, because you don't understand when you're 12 the ramifications of how bands work and everything else. So all of a sudden, my favourite singer with the band that had that amazing album cover was imploding for what I knew. And I knew who Samson were, and I liked Samson. So obviously Bruce was leaving Samson, who I liked. Di'Anno was leaving Maiden, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. So when the album came out, yeah, like everyone else, brilliant. I didn't get to see him until Peace of Mind, but I did see him on the Peace of Mind tour in '83. The challenge I have with it now is half the album is crap. 22 Acacia Avenue is rubbish. It has got some of the worst lyrics ever going. It's a dreadful song. Invaders is throwaway at best. Run to the Hills is the Enter Sandman of Iron Maiden.
It
is crap. It is rubbish. And it's one of the reasons why when Iron Maiden play, you get a bunch of nerds that turn up because they only know Run to the Hills and a few others. It's why Maiden and Metallica are the two biggest bands in the world, because everyone turns up and all they want to hear is these. Maiden have done 16, 17 albums, and Simon proved the point. If you go up and they play all the Number of the Beast, you're happy. So they play an album from 42 years ago. They've made all this other modern music, and people still want to hear this. Now, is that because it's classic? Possibly. Or is it because people just don't move? I don't know. The four bangers for me: the title track, Prisoner, Children of the Damned, and Hallowed Be Thy Name. Never tire of listening to them. Number of the Beast, overplayed to death. Boring now. Boring. So whilst, yes, I have huge affection for the album, huge affection for the artwork. Listening to this again several times again in preparation for this podcast, it fired the emotions of being 12 again, but listening to it with a more critical ear. My favorite album, or my album when we did the daily, was Power Slave. I think Killers was second. I think Peace of Mind was third. I think this came in about fifth, and that's about where I rank it, because I think there are 3 or 4 tracks on the album which, in comparison, are just not that good. There we go.
Very fair point, Paul. Unfortunately, you're wrong, but it's a very fair point. The one thing I will say is obviously I'm not a massive Maiden fan. I would say up to the early 90s, that's kind of where me and Maiden stopped. I think we've had this conversation before where, I think they should have stopped a long, long time ago. I don't think Bruce Dickinson sounds good live anymore. You said that the video was just a shit one that I saw, But I've not listened to this album. I mean, I listened to it today. I don't think I've listened to it for 5 or 6 years. And having that really long break, not listening to it, I fucking loved it again today. I really, really liked it again. And I would say the same would go for the Black Album as well. Like you just mentioned, I don't think I've listened to the Black Album for 10 years. Just because every time you put a metal playlist on, you know full well Enter Sandman's going to come on it, Run to the Hills or Number the Beast is going to come on it, and then do you really, so it's fatigue with them albums and then big songs and that you do get fatigue with it. I certainly agree with you on that, definitely. But I know I still love this album. I think it's fucking great. But for me, Children of the Damned and Hallowed Be Thy Name and The Prisoner are my top 3, definitely.
Yeah, that's
There
fair.
we go.
The interesting thing, just put it up on Setlist FM while you're talking. 3 of the top 5 tracks that Maiden have played live are from this album.
And that's got to be Number of the Beast, Run to the Hills, and Hallowed Be Thy Name.
Yeah, but not in that order. Beast first. Well, it's Iron Maiden first, obviously.
Yeah.
Then Beast, then Hallowed Be Thy Name, and that's interesting, isn't it? Because I can listen to Hallowed Be Thy Name, and it doesn't bother me. Run to the Hills is 5th, and I would turn it off if it came on.
Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get that. I think if it weren't the fact I listened to the album in full today, if I'm driving around and I've got a mix on or something like that, and anything bar one Iron Maiden song comes on, I do tend to skip it. But if Hallowed Be Thy Name, Prisoner, Children of the Damned come on, then they stay. The drum sound at the beginning, that lovely echo he's got on the snare, the reverb on that snare that he's got at the beginning of Prisoner is just, I fucking love it. Absolutely great.
Marvellous. So we still have diverse thoughts on Number of the Beast.
It's great, isn't it? I genuinely thought this would be an absolute banker for everybody.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't dislike it at all.
Oh, we've got you wrong.
It's an album that's got huge emotional attachment. It's just when you listen back to it, like you. I mean, I listened to it when we listened to every Maiden track that they'd ever done, which was astonishing, but actually quite interesting. If I was going to go to a Maiden album now, it would either be Killers or Power Slave that I'd pick. It wouldn't be this one.
Yeah. But, do you know, I think if I was going to listen to a Maiden album all the way through, I'd probably go with Mike and listen to Seventh Son. Because, I think that's got some really, really good songs on it as well.
Well, we know that. Didn't you bring that one as well?
No,
I don't think
Haven't we had 2 Maiden classics from you?
No, I don't think so. No.
Non-repeat this section.
Oh, I'm going to check the playlist. I think that's bollocks.
Yeah, I don't think he has.
No.
I don't think he has.
No,
In fact, I'm
definitely not brought
I'm
Maiden.
gonna go further to say is I know he hasn't. Yeah.
you would know he hasn't. Okay, I thought we'd already had a Maiden album, but maybe
No,
not.
we've discussed them when they were touring live, and we've certainly discussed them when we on Right People
okay.
were singing along.
Yes, that's
no,
correct.
never
Isn't it?
happened.
Yeah, because I went to go and see him, didn't I?
Yeah, and you fell asleep because they
Maybe
were
it was
boring.
Oh, you're such a. You make me want to swear.
Well, I will let you know how Bruce does live because I'm seeing him next week.
I'm going on Sunday.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got him on Sunday
brilliant.
night.
I'm not.
But you don't do gigs apart from free ones.
Free ones, yeah. I only go to free gigs, yeah. No. So, but I have got a letter.
Oh, have you?
I've had a letter off a listener.
Okay.
So here we go. Dear Mr. Miserable, I love listening to your podcast while at my grandparents' house. Until that was when my granddad died, unfortunately.
Fucking hell.
That's a shame. I hope you're all right. But I'll never forget his last piece of advice that he gave me. He always told me, fight fire with fire. He was a great man, but a terrible fireman. Thanks a lot for that. Shame his house burned down.
Oh dear.
And what he wants to discuss is the cost of tickets. In particular, a certain band from Seattle who have went through the whole process of you had to register for tickets because they clearly thought it was going to be a mass panic and everyone wanted their tickets for their tour. And then once you were in this queue, so you got an email confirmation back that you're in the queue. Once you're in the queue, you can clearly see you're a number 2,400 and thingy, that's going down very quickly. And you get in to buy it at Ticketmaster for the new Co-op Arena in Manchester. And one ticket for Pearl Jam, the band who fought Ticketmaster in the 90s, is £162 for one ticket. £162. And listen, I've got Pearl Jam tattooed on me. I fucking love Pearl Jam. When you asked me what I was doing before, yes, I have heard the new album. So I have been listening to some new music and I've heard their new album. It's not terrible. It's a decent album. £162 for a band that basically give you some nice lights. And we're not talking lasers, we're just talking lights. You get a bit of a video display behind them. The songs are fantastic. They are a great band live. Eddie Vedder sounds fucking amazing. They're still wonderful and I love them. But £162, fucking give me a firework at least. You ain't getting fireworks with them. You're not getting a flying drum kit, And to put it in comparison, because I thought maybe it's the Co-op Arena. No, it isn't. Because you can go watching the Smashing Pumpkins and Weezer, which is inarguably, some people might say, a better bill. And that's 62 quid. I think you can get tickets for 52 for Smashing Pumpkins and Weezer, and that's two bands. I mean, Pearl Jam support band, I can't remember who they are, but it's not someone I want to go watching anyway. I think it's actually Richard Ashcroft or something like that.
It is.
And it's just £162. So two of us want to go. That's £320. Who the fuck can afford £322 these days on tickets for a band that, again, there is no stage show here. I could understand it if they were saying, oh, we've got 5 different stages and one of them blows up and we have all these things falling from the roof and you all get a free T-shirt at the end. And if they said, look, your money for the tickets is going to something, fucking great. But clearly it's going on the cost of getting them round the fucking world. It's a fucking piss take. So I'm not going watching them.
Well,
and I just wondered what everybody else thinks.
Well, first,
certainly the cost of tickets.
I just want to make sure that this video is working and is rolling because I want to do this. I completely agree with you, Simon. And it's never been said before, apart from earlier about Number of the Beast. But yeah, it's abhorrent that money. There's no Metallica stage set. There's no Iron Maiden. There's no Eddie, I should say. There's no reason. Rammstein costs less money to go and watch, and their show is far larger than anybody.
Absolutely,
Actually,
totally agree with you.
So-
Yeah, Rammstein, fucking hell, what they bring to a gig is unbelievable. And like I say, Pearl Jam, they bring 5 amps, a drum kit, and an organ.
Yeah,
You know,
you should be paid, certainly, but yeah. But yeah,
you know, if even if they said, look, you all get a free CD with each ticket. With each ticket, you're getting the CD of the gig. You're getting a free download of the gig. At least you're thinking, well, all right, there's some production costs there that you've got to cover, and that you're not even getting that. You're not getting fuck all.
because they used
You're
to
getting them on stage for 2 hours.
They used to do that, didn't they? Do they not do that anymore?
No, they used to. So in I think the early 2000s, they used to record every gig, and then they brought them all out as a bootleg to stop bootlegging at the time.
I saw them at
know,
Brixton, and I got one from Brixton.
Yeah. Well, I've got the Brixton one that I didn't go to. I got the Manchester one that I went to. Like I said, I've got a fucking lot of them bootlegs from gigs. I've looked on the back of what the set list was, because that is one thing I love about Pearl Jam. Every night is different. They never repeat a set list ever, and that is impressive in itself. But it doesn't cost £162 just to think of putting alive the third song rather than the last song. You know what I mean? It doesn't, warrant that at all. And it's just pissed me off and pissed a lot of people off that the band that took Ticketmaster to task in the 90s about charging too much, and now seems to be, well, what do you think we should charge? Oh, yeah, you get away with this? Yeah, we'll charge that.
What's your thoughts, Paul?
He's going. He's got 2 tickets.
No, I'm not a big Pearl Jam fan, but I think 52 quid to see Smashing Pumpkins is 52 quid too much. But there we are.
But you understand the point. The £52
to an extent, I understand the point, but there are obviously enough people to buy the tickets, and if you look at.
In fact, if you go on, you can still buy tickets now. Not one. I think there's one show in Ireland that's sold out. The other shows in London and Manchester, obviously, and other shows in Europe are not sold out. So they are going to be playing to arenas that, for the first time I can remember, you cannot get it. You can still go and get a ticket for Pearl Jam on the night. I won't be surprised if you could just walk up to the doors on the night and go in and pay and get in.
Yeah, I'm looking at it on Ticket. I'm looking on Ticketmaster now. The seats are still available, which is interesting. I mean, that's the only way this will change, is if people don't turn up.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, for the majority of the big bands, and that doesn't include just metal, it includes people like Taylor Swift, Beyonce, people like that, who will fill the Principality Stadium in a couple of weeks. Bruce Springsteen last week in Cardiff, 60,000 people there paying 100 quid a piece to watch him play. People will pay it, and I think the cost of touring has substantially increased, certainly since Brexit. And I think if people are crazy enough to pay it, then that's up to them. I paid 120 quid a ticket to go and listen to Geddy Lee talk for 2 hours. There wouldn't be many people that would have done that. I remember the last time I saw Rush in 2013, their tickets were 75 quid, and there was a lot of outrage about how much they were. But then I broke it down. They paid for 3 hours, so that was 25 quid an hour for a ticket. And when I looked at it like that, I thought, it's not actually that bad. And if they're your favourite band, that's what they'll do. People will pay. I mean, if you think about it in some ways, Neil, who's paying to go to Copenhagen to see Metallica, is not paying just to see Metallica. He's forking out flights, he's forking out accommodation, because he wants to go and do that, and he's got the money to do it. So Metallica, in some respects, if we come back to them, which we always seem to bloody do, are the ultimate corporate metal machine for me, because they are not just doing one night, they're doing 2 nights, which means that they are pulling people in for a long weekend, which probably means that people are spending $1,000 to go and see them. Well, when they first came round, they were playing the Astoria. I saw them twice on the Puppets tour. I think the tickets were like 10 quid a piece. It's really difficult to know where the argument is. But the only way, you're right, if Pearl Jam play to half empty stadiums, well, then maybe the message will get through. But I don't think it will, because unfortunately the big events now, the Taylor Swifts, the Ed Sheerans, all of those, are where people spend their money.
So, as the astute among you may have noticed, Toranaga seemed to have disappeared towards the end of the recording. Very sorry about that. We may be changing recording software soon, we'll see. You will agree, though, that both Mike and Mark were very cool guests, and I am sure the existing fans out there are already excited about the upcoming live shows. And I hope, in fact, I am sure they will create some new fans along the way. Good luck, boys, and I hope to catch you live soon. I got a little destroyed with my album choice this month, and I was a little shocked because I actually love this album. Never mind. Well, it wasn't never mind. It was Dödsrit, but you know. Also, we have now set up a review team for albums and live shows. I hope you've caught some of them and enjoyed them. If you have, could you like, could you share, pass on, recommend, do whatever you can for our work. It all helps the social media algorithms to promote our stuff. And don't forget the very dapper merch that we have. We will return for the next episode at the usual date, so see you then. It will be a year since we first tried this out. Doesn't time fly? Thank you very much for your time, people. We really do appreciate every listen and every read, every tick and every photograph. Latest, people, and cheers.